And for more insight into the day's events in Ottawa, we're joined now by Matt Millar. He is the Ottawa bureau chief at the Vancouver Observer. He was also inside Parliament Wednesday when the attack happened. We talked to him just 24 hours ago. And Matt, a lot has happened in the 24 hours since we spoke last. The Prime Minister addressed Parliament today. There were remembrances. Can you walk us through the day? What is the mood like there in Ottawa?
Absolutely, Elaine. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you here tonight. I just left my office where 24 hours ago, not even, I was barricaded inside and had to escape through a window that we broke onto the roof. We were one of very few people who managed to escape early on in the day, as my colleagues and fellow parliamentarians remained in the building until late into the evening. The day unfolded right behind me at the War Memorial. That's where the initial shooting took place. We saw chilling video this afternoon released by the RCMP, which showed the shooter in action as he left the War Memorial and proceeded to Parliament. All of this happened in a matter of 90 seconds or less. He commandeered a minister's vehicle. The driver fled. He drove up to the Parliament building through the Peace Tower, ran up through the Peace Tower, shot one of our security guards, proceeded to continue inside the building where a firefight, we now find out 2 firefights took place. By my count, being inside, there was approximately 30 bullets fired. This morning, Ottawa was under extra security. Parliament Hill still remains under lockdown. The cenotaph is still a crime scene. There's a lot that we still have yet to have answered, but in true Canadian spirit, the resolve is high. The Prime Minister continued to do business in the seat of government. I wouldn't say, Elaine, that it was business as usual, but we were back to business, and we resolved to not be intimidated by the events of yesterday.
Matt, do you think Canadians will want to see stricter rules, stricter controls, and will Prime Minister Harper see more support? You know, we saw that video, we've learned more about this gunman. What do you think Canadians will think about all this now?
Well, let's make one thing clear. You can't stop a shooter with paperwork alone, and our lawmakers have been calling for changes and pushing for expedited changes to legislation in recent weeks. This comes at a time when we are trying to increase our measures here to prevent domestic situations from occurring. Unfortunately, the timing couldn't have happened at any worse time, as we are trying to respond to a global threat of terror.
So do you think there is an even greater concern about extremism in Canada as we've learned more about the suspect in this case? You know, this is 2 incidents now in 1 week there in that country.
You're absolutely right. Now, we have confirmed with the RCMP that neither of those events are linked. We do not know the motives of either individual at this point. In fact, we never will. We have both individuals are now deceased. It's hard to stereotype on race and friendships alone whether they are involved in any terrorist affiliations, but organizations such as Anonymous, for example, have no jurisdiction. They don't call upon a membership base. They function only on ideology, and with someone who's intent to put the fear of terror in any citizen in any country certainly gives rise for concern, especially now that the agenda is driven by Islamic extremism.
So what do you think are the things to watch coming out of Ottawa there in the coming days, coming weeks? Do you think lawmakers will continue to work on some related legislation?
Well, as I maintained yesterday, the events that unfolded was not a matter of if, but when. We were very surprised how soon it did happen, and that is unfortunate. I think we're going to see legislation proceed in an expedited fashion to ensure that the security forces, the security apparatus, and the intelligence apparatus function very integrated with our allies and partners in the Five Eyes, New Zealand, Australia, United Kingdom, etc. I think we really need to take moves to strengthen those issues. Secondly, as I said before, we're not going to stop a terrorist attack with paperwork alone. We're going to see further measures of target hardening. We're going to see increased security. We're going to see reviews over policy. This situation will be debriefed for a long time. This is the first attack that we've seen in our country, especially on a parliament institution in a post-9/11 world.
And Matt, lastly, what has been the mood there on the streets? It appears from looking in that there's an attitude, a mentality of resolve.
You're absolutely right, and I think it's true to our British roots. As a original colony, the British term "keep calm and carry on" has gotten many through a tough time, and I really believe here in Canada that's the spirit. That's why everyone showed up to work today. That's why you see traffic behind me, and that's why you see people behind me. We are free. In terms of our society, we will not be intimidated. I do have concerns, however, that the openness of our Parliament grounds, as they used to be, will be revisited. We will unfortunately see perhaps something more akin to the U.S. Capitol or Westminster Parliament in London moving forward.
All right, Matt Millar, thank you so much for your time and joining us here on our show.